Hello and welcome to Rolling Realms Game 80 Round 3. I've been really looking forward to this because these are realms that I have not played very much of at all. A little bit of playtesting, obviously, but in their published form, not all that much. And Tokaido, this is the first appearance of Tokaido. I see Kevin and Ian are already joining me. Thank you for joining in today. Anyone else who's joining in, welcome to pop into the comments and say hi. If those of you who are watching, if you could confirm that what you see on the big camera is this, and what you see on the small camera is this, that would be great. It says it is the opposite. Let me know if it is corrected now. Changes every day, but currently on my screen, I am seeing the bigger image of the cards, which is what I want to see and what I'm hoping you will see as well. Hopefully that is correct. Awesome, Ian. Thank you for confirming that. So today we have Stamp Swap, Finspan, Tokaido. Stamp Swap is, I'll go through these after the first roll, with the first roll in hand. So let's do that. Let's play that way. Here is the first roll. We have a 1 and a 4. It looks like I have plenty of space on camera today. That's nice. A 1 and a 4 for turn 1. So let's talk about how to use these. So in Stamp Swap, you're going to use a number based on, you're going to use a shape based on a number to draw non-overlapping stamps in the grid. So I have a 1, so I could draw one of these or the 4. For stamp size, quantity, rotation, and reward, check whether the used number is the highest or the lowest of the rolled numbers. So if I choose the 1, it is the lower of the two numbers. So I would draw this shape. If I choose the 4, it is the higher of the two rolled numbers. So I would get this benefit as a result. And the goal in Stamp Swap, there are a couple different goals. One, you're going to score stars for completing rows, specific rows here, the darker rows. 2, you'll score stars for at least 12 stamps, which is going to be difficult to do, but it is possible. Some of these, like the one right here, 1 is the high number if that ever happens, is the it includes 2 stamps with it. And last, you get stars if the grid is full, if you fill the full grid. I think that would be very difficult. But let's go ahead and use the 4 as the high, because I know I'm going to get a coin back from it, so I'll be able to use every realm on this turn. I see Brendan has joined us as well. Brendan, thanks for joining us. I hope you're doing well. So I'll use the 4 over here. So that means the 4 is the higher of the 2 rolled dice. And so to fill in a big square, let's put the big square right up here. Put the dot in the middle so that it's 1 stamp. That's great. I need to use the 1, and I have a 1 that I can create over here as well. Oh, and Ian says, don't forget that created numbers on Stamp Swap can be either high or low. So if I created a 1 on a future turn with a roll like this, I could choose to compare it against the 1 instead of the 4 if I wanted to. That's how you could maybe get some of these high 1s and get pairs of dice. Thank you, Ian, for mentioning that. All right, so I have 2 1s to use. In Finspan, I'm going to write a number in a bubble and gain the benefit. The number must comply with the zone constraint. And so, for example, 2s, 4s, and 6s here. I can use 1s, 3s, and 5 here, and numbers not yet used in this realm. So this is kind of I think, unless I'm missing something, that filling in numbers first down here is a clever way to go. Number not used. Yeah. This Finspan also includes these pluses, which means if you do that, plus allows you to write an additional number, rolled or created, in this realm without gaining the benefit. So you still have to use a number. You're not creating a new number inherently by getting a plus. It's just letting you use this realm again. It's essentially the same as 3 pumpkins. And then we'll score stars for completed zones and columns. I have not mastered Finspan yet, so this will be a fun experiment to try to figure it out. But I'm confident that I can put a 1 down here because there is no other number in Finspan yet. So let's put the 1 right here, I think. 1 right there for a heart and a coin. And then I will use a coin. I believe. Well, let's go over to Tokaido. First time with Tokaido. Write a number in a circle to visit that location along the path and gain or pay resources as indicated. So some of them have a little minus sign indicating that you have to pay the resources. We're going to move from left to right, like in Tokaido. And that's pretty much it. No restrictions there in terms of what you write down, except that if you skip over spaces, which you can do, you can't backtrack. We'll score stars for visiting specific locations. There's a star there, a star there. Score 2 stars for 6 different written numbers. Score 2 stars for 8 plus visited locations. So I will create a 1 value die, and I'll write it here on the first one, and I'll gain 2 hearts. All right, some puzzles here to figure out. So Ian says, definitely early numbers in the bottom of Finspan so you don't get trapped. And Brendan says, are you planning on restocking the Finspan Rolling Realms or Micro Dojo? I would say hoping, yes. So we're still waiting for the request for those realms to get high enough for us to go ahead and make at least 1,000 of each of them. I think we're closer on Rolling Realms than Micro Dojo as far as I can tell. And Brendan, I'm guessing that you've already filled out the back in stock form, but if you haven't, that is the way to communicate to our data that we need to restock it and reprint it. Ian points out that the red line and outline versus the green lines in Tokaido indicate which ones you're gaining or spending resources for. I think this is a touch that Corel added, but it might have come from the original design, which I think was from Matt. I could be wrong about that. Okay, 4 and a 6. Let's burn through some turns here, see what happens. Stamp swap for 4 or 6. So 4 would be the low, or 6 would be the high. Ooh, that's kind of nice with it using that 6 over there. I kind of like that, using the 6 in stamp swap as the high. So I will do that. I'll use the 6 as the high. I get to draw another big square and a small square. That's 2 stamps with the 6. There we go. And a small square. I'll just try to complete this row. I'll focus on. In fact, I do complete that row. So that is 1 star for that row. And I also get a coin. The 4, do I want to use it in Finspan? So I know I can't use a 1 in Finspan in the bottom row again. I could use it elsewhere, but right now I think I'd rather use the 4 here. And I want eventually 6 different numbers in Tokaido, but I don't need that right off the bat. So I think what I'd like to do is put the 4 right here in Finspan to gain a pumpkin and a coin, and I'll use 1 coin as a 1 in Tokaido. So in Tokaido, again, there are no restrictions as to the numbers that you write, just an incentive for eventually writing 6 different numbers down here in Tokaido. And a reminder that when you are manipulating dice numbers using things like pumpkins, I can't turn a 6 into a 7 because a 7 is not a number that appears on this die. Turn 3, we have a 2 and a 3. Ian says this is his 27th live stream game since discovering them a few years ago. I keep track on BG Stats. That's awesome, Ian. Thank you for joining me for so many games. And I do want to give out a shout out to Garrett, who is not feeling well today. Garrett often joins these live streams, and I really appreciate you doing that, Garrett. Hopefully you can watch this in the future and know that we were thinking about you, and I hope you're feeling better. A 2 and a 3 here. So 2 is the low. And for a rectangular stamp, and the 3 would be the high. Oh, I do like that 3 high. Might go with that. Let's go with the 3 high to gain a coin, a small stamp. Put that right there since it fits nicely. And I'll start all the way over here again and go with a longer stamp right there for 3. So the 2 left to use, and I could create a number over here. I even have the hearts to copy a number if I really want, but the 2 fits safely in Finspan's bottom row. So why not complete that bottom row? That does give me a star in Finspan, and I get a heart and a pumpkin. Now I do need to start thinking about using these pluses to my advantage. I think the easiest way to do that might be to say, like, write down a 3 right here and then use the plus with a created 1 in this row. I think I will try to do that twice. I think that is probably the way to go. Anyway, one more time, it might be time to just put a 2 over in Tokaido. I will use 2 coins as a 2, and I need to spend a pumpkin. That's unfortunate. Spend a pumpkin right here to put that 2 there. That way, at least I'm working towards this goal of 6 different numbers. What are you all doing this weekend? Any fun plans that you're up to? I'm hoping to get in. Oh, here's another 2 and a 3. 2 and a 3. I'm hoping to get in some disc golf. We might watch a movie tonight, and maybe I'll see if Megan wants to play not Finspan, Mistborn sometime this weekend. And we have a dinner with friends. Oh, and I'm going to appear on the Decision Space podcast, one of my favorite podcasts. They have some local friends run this podcast, and they've invited me to join them for conversation about limited communication cooperative games. One of my favorite styles of cooperative games. Limited communication and limited information cooperative games. Kevin says he's playing ISS Vanguard this weekend. That's fun, Kevin. I've heard great things about that game. 2 and a 3. I've not played it, though. 2 and a 3. So the 2 I like in Finspan, using this idea I mentioned of maybe putting a 2. Let's just try it. I'll put a 2 right there. And I'll use the plus and a created 1. I'll put that one right here. I think I can spare a heart. I'm essentially saying that maybe I'm going to ignore that coin or maybe ignore that plus. We'll see. Probably ignore that plus. I've used the 2. The 3 is the high. Oh, I do like the 3 as the high in Stamp Swap. That is pretty good. And maybe I'll copy the 3 and use in Tokaido. So I'll use the 3 as the high. I'll get yet another coin. Stamp Swap is being very generous with coins. And I'll draw that shape in here. 3 also gives me a small square. Maybe I'll keep working my way down this column with small squares. And I think I will copy that 3 and put it in Tokaido right here for a star. All right, turn 5. Kevin says that ISS Vanguard is, oh, here's a pair of 4s, is as hard as Scythe. And Ian says he's watching some TV, playing some games. But I think I will play a little bit more of Blueprints. I'm trying to maybe do 1 run a day, maybe every day. We'll see. A run in Blueprints, this new digital game, is about 15, 20 minutes. And Ian says he's getting some filming done to get ahead of the next few weeks. That's great. And actually, right after this, I'm recording another podcast with my friend Mitchell. Pair of 4s here. What can I do with 4s? So 4s can be high or low, thanks to Stamp Swap. And I probably want to pair up these 4s. So I think I want to go for the heart. So I'll go for the big square here, and I'll get a heart out of it. I'll use the second 4 in Finspan. I'll put that 4 right here to gain another heart. Yeah, I think that's what I want to do. And then I will copy. I'll use 2 hearts and another spent heart to copy the 4 and write the 4 right there. The spent heart is this one right here. The 2 hearts copy the 4 since I have a pair. Okay. I think that's good for turn 5. Let's go into turn 6. A 1 and a 4. A lot of 4s this round. Start out with a 1 and a 4. 4 is the high. Okay, I know that eventually I'm going to need a coin to spend. 1 would be the 4 is the high right here. That would be a coin, and actually I can't fit that shape in anymore, so I need to use a 1 instead. 1 as the low probably, unless I create a 1. And where else can I use the 4? So I could put the 4 right here, put a 1 in Finspan. Might need to do that. And neither of those numbers is great for my number variety over here in Tokaido. I will put the 4 right here in Finspan using that plus with a created 1. I guess I could use that 1, but I'll create the 1 and I'll put it, hesitant to give up on that coin, but I think I will put it right there. And I do complete that column. That was the 4. The 1 is the low in Stamp Swap. So that is a single square and a pumpkin. And I did complete another row in Stamp Swap. And here's the pumpkin. And now what do I want to do in Tokaido? Probably, I think, another single coin as a 1 to gain 2 pumpkins and put that 1 right here. Turn 7. I see Nolan says he's helping out at a local rescues adoption event and hoping to get my game group together tonight for game night, hoping to get either expeditions or parks to the table. That's great. And Nolan, a fun fact about Parks. Parks uses a one-way action track mechanism, one of my favorite mechanisms in games. And many early versions of Expeditions use that track as a circular track. So that's why in the realm for Expeditions, it's kind of this one-way track where you're circling around going in one direction. That was how Expeditions was for a long time before it just wasn't working for that particular game. Yeah, and very awesome that you're volunteering at a local rescue adoption event. 6 and a 3 here. I do like the 3. Oh, the 6 won't work actually anymore. The 3 could work as the low. That could be nice. I need a 6 over in Tokaido, so maybe I should just go for that 6. Yeah, I think I might need to go for the 6 there. Let's go for the 6 in Tokaido, get those 2 hearts. And in Finspan, I could use a 1, although I need a coin. I need to get a way to get a coin still. The 3 as the low. I could also create a 1. Could do that. The 3 as the low. Do I like that? 2 little ones. I can also put the 3 right here. And do what in Finspan if I do that? This is a tough one. Because I kind of need to use that plus to my advantage. But I can't write a 1 up here. I need to write a better number. So this probably isn't the turn to do that. But I can't skip Finspan either. So what to do? Let's at least use the 3 as the low in Stamp Swap. That will let me fill in 2 small squares and get a pumpkin. But now, do I do anything really with Finspan with a 1? I could turn a 1 into a 2. But then I don't know what I would do. Yeah, that doesn't really help my case. I think I might have to skip Finspan, which is tough. Sorry, I'm a little I'm stumbling over this a little bit because I don't want to lose a turn on Finspan. But I don't know if there's much that I can do other than use a single coin there as a 1, and that doesn't really give me what I guess I could use. I don't know. I'm not going to do anything. I'll give it a turn and see what happens. Here's turn 8. A pair of 2s. Very interesting. I do have 2 hearts. Pair of 2s could be the high or the low in Stamp Swap. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I'm actually okay on the 12 goal. So I might go with a longer stamp. Let's do that. I keep jumping straight to Stamp Swap, but it's fun to use it. And here's the heart. One of the other 2s I could put in Finspan. Yeah, let's try this. Let's put the 2. I'll put the 2 right there. I need that coin. I'll just get the 2 and deal with the consequences. There's the 2. And then I will copy the 2 since it's a pair and spend a coin to write a 2 right here. So I need to put a 5 right there to get 2 more stars. And yeah, I only have 1 star there so far there. Yeah, so I need a 5. I have 8 locations, so I get 2 more stars for that. And so I need to get that star. Yeah, this will be tough. I think that's all I want to do this turn. I think we're good there. All right, final turn. Here we go. Show me a 5. A 5 would be great. 3s, another pair. Heavy pairs this round. No 5s. And that is the ugliest 3 I've ever written. There's another 3. With enough pumpkins, I could turn those 3s into a 5, but I'm hesitant to use all those pumpkins on a single number. But that would be a 3-star 5 if I want to do that. I could also give up on the 5 and just write a lower number there. Finspan is going to be tough to pull off, unfortunately. Yeah, I didn't roll an even number. I guess let's see if the 3 can help me finish off. Yeah, here we go. With Stamp Swap, I can at least finish off Stamp Swap. And that does give me points. Full. I get the other row. I have 12 stamps already. What am I missing here with Stamp Swap? That's 1, that's 2, that's 3. Okay, so you get it for the rows. Oh, I see. 12 of at least 3 large stamps. 3 large stamps. Oh, I had that one already. Awesome. Okay. We'll use the... I could use a 1 in Stamp Swap as well. No, I don't want to do that. I'm going to do a 3. 3 right there. And I get a pumpkin out of it. That will complete Stamp Swap. 1 pumpkin. The second 3, I'd love to get a heart, but I can't get a heart. That would let me copy the 3s So I think that's where Finspan will suffer a little bit. But I do have enough pumpkins now to manipulate a 3 up to a 5, which I think is worth it. Although I'm so short on Finspan here. Mark is just joining us, and Anthony says 1 resource each did not come in handy at the end for final score 14.3. Not bad though, Anthony. 14.3 is definitely a solid score. I could use the here in Finspan, that is in the twilight zone. And if I did that, I could then create a 1 and put it someplace else. And that would be worth 2 stars, but that ultimately isn't worth it. So I'm going to turn the 3 into 1, 2, 3. There we go. I'm going to turn one of these 3s into a 5. An expensive proposition, but you know, this is the first time playing Tokaido on camera. Might as well do well at it. And I still have this coin to use. And so I might as well use it well as probably as a 1. It could also be a 2. I think either way, it's just 1 star. So it will just be 1 star right there. And the plus is there, but I don't have another number to use. And so it's just 1 star. Fell a little short with Finspan, but that is still 15.3. I'm happy with that. And I'm happy to have spent the last, 20 minutes. Sorry, I went a little bit longer there than normal. Thinking about things a little bit more than normal, but I had fun playing with you all, and I hope you're doing well. Thank you for playing along with Game 80. This was a lot of fun to play through these Stonemaier realms with you. See, Ian's score got a 16.8. Excellent score there, Ian. Well done. I hope you all have a great weekend, and I'll be back in about a month. Yeah, I think about a month for Game 81 when we'll be back to going through the realms. All right. Thank you all. Have a good day. Bye.